Good morning on this early Thursday morning as we are still tracking a very dangerous winter storm which continues to unfold across the Ohio Valley and the Northeast. I'm Cheryl Lemke, and we have had definitely some very rough weather conditions over the last several hours or so. We are certainly watching out for some major icing problems today over parts of the upper Ohio Valley and spreading in across Maryland and Pennsylvania and likewise New Jersey. We've also had some icing conditions too overnight around New York City. So again, a very treacherous time for traveling over much of the Northeast. Why all the adverse weather? Well, it's a fairly complex weather pattern, but one of the key ingredients is some very cold air trapped at the surface. We have this big Arctic high pressure cell building across eastern Canada, helping to drive in that unseasonably cold air. While at the same time, though, we've had some relatively mild and moist air streaming northward from the Gulf of Mexico. And that milder air flowing up and over the cold air at the surface, and that is setting the stage for this potpourri of wintry weather conditions ranging from sleet and freezing rain to snowfall. Now, just depending on how deep that layer of cold air is, that determines exactly what kind of precipitation that we're talking about. If it's just a shallow layer of cold air, then we have the freezing rain. A little bit deeper layer of cold air, then you have the sleet. And if it's a really fairly deep layer of very, very cold air that's pouring into the area, then for the most part, it's all frozen precipitation in the form of snow. So just a variety of weather conditions right now plaguing the Northeast. We've had the freezing rain this morning, though, right across the Ohio River Valley up through Zanesville. Some freezing rain, occasionally mixing with some snowfall, too, for Pittsburgh, and more freezing rain all the way back towards New York City and around Newark. Back over towards around Long Island this morning. So please, if you're heading off to work or heading off to school this morning, be extremely careful. In fact, traveling is not being recommended as the roadways are staying very, very treacherous across the area. And it will not really get a whole lot better throughout the day as this low will slowly be trekking its way towards the east. And again, more ice expanding across Pennsylvania and a large part of Maryland and New Jersey throughout the afternoon. For New York City, though, we do anticipate that the freezing rain that we've had this morning will eventually turn over to all snow as that colder air continues to filter down from the north. Again, just a variety of weather conditions. We've had the sleet and freezing rain around New York City spreading over towards Islip and around the Hamptons this morning. Snows, though, as we head north of New York City up through Poughkeepsie. More snow, too, from the Mid-Hudson Valley through Binghamton and Ithaca, New York, where we're also reporting some snows near Buffalo, through Erie, and back over towards northern sections of Ohio. Now, just south of Cleveland, though, we start to encounter the freezing rain one more time. And again, any way you slice it, a very, very nasty morning for traveling all across the area. And certainly temperatures are cold enough to support that frozen precipitation. When you factor in the winds, boy, the wind chills are brutal in the Northeast. Wind chill right now -24 for Boston, and it feels like 22 below over towards Rochester. We're also seeing some extremely cold air, too, pouring in across the heartland this morning. Right now, 17 for Chicago. But again, with the winds, the wind chill now down to -7. So these are very brutally cold wind chills all across the upper Midwest. And we can't overemphasize the point that for those of you venturing outside this morning, perhaps waiting at the bus stop, waiting to pick up the L train around Chicago, you will certainly need to wear several layers of warm clothes and protect yourself against the possibility of frostbite. Now, as we were mentioning, we've had some very wintry conditions, too, across the area. In fact, our next low-pressure area getting caught up in the heels of our jet stream, sweeping in through the region, and it's providing a new fresh blanket of snow. Snowing right now for Minneapolis and St. Paul over through Rochester. We've had some snow, too, for Redwood Falls and Brainerd, Minnesota, Bemidji, on into Appleton and Oshkosh, Wisconsin. Most of the snow right now just to the west of Chicago, but as that low continues to drop to the south and the east, we could also see a little dusting around the Chicago area. More accumulating snows, though, likely for the Twin Cities, perhaps 1 inch to 2 inches of snow there. And again, we'll see some snows, too, working across the Northeast today. The worst-case scenario may be a dusting to 1 inch around New York City as that colder air continues to work into the picture. There'll be a little snow, too, accumulating around Cape Cod and around the Boston area. But even heavier snows likely, though, for northwestern and north-central sections of Pennsylvania, where around Williamsport there might be nearly 6 inches of snow by tonight. The southeast also in for some fairly active weather this morning as our front continues to ease off towards the east. It's been triggering a little round of some showers and thunder showers this morning. In fact, right now, some heavy rain pelting Chattanooga. We've had some showers, too, near the Nashville area. Thunder showers, though, back over towards Huntsville, Alabama. And as that moisture continues to flow through the area, we do think some rain will eventually be flaring up, too, for Atlanta and for Charlotte as the morning continues to wear on. Meanwhile, farther towards the west, thick fog around the Sacramento Valley. And for the Pacific Northwest, our next storm system is getting ready to come on board. It's already spread some very, very gusty winds across the area, and we've had some snowfall as well. So here's what's happening then throughout the day today. Our low slowly trudging off towards the northeast. Again, traveling is not being recommended, with more freezing rain likely for Pittsburgh and Philly. Back towards D.C. and Baltimore throughout the afternoon hours. Again, winter advisories and winter storm warnings have been posted. Heavier snows today for Pennsylvania. Some soaking rains, though, farther towards the south. And temperatures staying bitterly cold over a large part of the country, teens and 20s. You factor in the winds, and it feels considerably colder. Making plans, though, for the rest of the work week? Let's check out the forecast now with a few cities.
Eyewitness News.